Today is Sunday, and it's November the 15th. It's just a couple minutes after 4 o'clock. Happy to have you folks joining us for today. My name is Jonathan Jones. I'll be your host and moderator for today. Frida Strong is a co-host. And each week, we're sharing information that we believe will benefit you and maybe someone that you care about. The information we're presenting is not intended to be a substitute for a visit to your primary care physician. We strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. But after interviewing a number of doctors, one interview stood out. It was with Dr. Nkuzi. When I asked him what would be important to him with regard to his patients, what would be the ideal patient to him? He said, without hesitation, there's three things that not just me, but every doctor would love to have. He said, we would all love for our patients to be compliant. If we write a prescription, we tell them to take so many doses, so many times a day. We'd love it if they just did that. The second ideal thing that would be ideal in a patient is if they could clearly articulate what their problem was, what their area of concern is. You know, we don't tend to think of veterinarians as being very important, but a veterinarian has to be really, really good because he's dealing with a mammal that can't describe what's wrong. He has to look at the symptoms, he has to run tests, and he has to draw conclusions. So the ideal patient would be the one that could very clearly articulate exactly what their area of concern is. That way the doctor is not having to be like a veterinarian and figure out what's wrong. The third thing, which is what is most interesting and which applies to the entire premise, including the mission statement of the Healthcare Support Association of America, is that he said that it would be great if my patients, all patients, were mentally and emotionally involved in their own healthcare and well-being. He says so many doctors, so many patients come to me and other doctors and they expect me to be 100% responsible for what happens to them. They don't want to take any responsibility mentally or emotionally for their well-being. He said the ideal patient is one who is completely engaged and they're actually actively working on their health and well-being. Reminds me of a friend of mine. He was having some health issues. Part of it, stemmed from the fact that he was morbidly obese. He had a lot of excess body weight. And for a man in particular, even a small amount of excess body weight in the abdomen is the worst kind of body excess fat you could have. They say it increases your chance of a cardiovascular event by about 40%. So he had a large amount of excess body weight. And his doctor was working with him. And for a long time, he was completely engaged in trying to get better. And he partnered up with us. We helped him knock off about 100 and some pounds. And the doctor said that if he lost that much weight, he said to him, and I quote, I will backflip butt naked down the hallway, is what he said he told him, if he lost that much weight. So he said, all right, doc, get ready. I got my camera. Now, I don't know if that actually ever happened, if the doctor did do the backflips or how much clothing was involved. I have no idea. But I do know this, that my good friend eventually sort of abdicated his health to his doctor. My good friend stopped being emotionally and mentally engaged in his own health. Life pressed in on him. He became overwhelmed with family problems, financial problems, and other anxieties. And eventually my good friend's heart stopped. And he could not be revived. And this just happened not even 6 months or so ago. So it still cuts deep that something like that could happen. This is with someone who had all kinds of information, had access to all the information that you and I have access to. In fact, for about 2 years, he rode with me all around all around Florida, Georgia, all the way up the East Coast. We were doing lectures all over the place. He was there. He listened to her and even helped me with many of the presentations. But he couldn't remain completely emotionally and mentally engaged in his own health and well-being. So, mind you now, many of the suggestions that we gave him drastically, radically improved his health. Why am I telling you this? The reason is because it's no different for any one of us. If we don't remain actively involved in our own health and our own well-being, then we too could find ourselves falling into a situation where we could not remain healthy. So getting healthy is one thing, but maintaining a good quality of health is a whole nother thing. So anyway, part of what this presentation is designed to do is to alert you to what causes poor health, and then some simple ways that we can work on improving it. In the post that we sent out, we were going to talk a little bit about inflammation. Inflammation really is really too broad of a category because it's connected to cancers, it's connected to diabetes, it's connected to Alzheimer's, it's connected to obesity, it's connected to heart disease, it's connected to so many different things. So it's very difficult to pinpoint it to one thing, but we'll talk a little bit about diabetes in this presentation. We'll focus a little bit on diabetes, and we'll be looking forward to hearing some of your questions, especially some of your personal experiences, some of the benefits that you found from taking charge of your health and well-being. And keep in mind too, as part of our disclaimer, we have to tell you that the FDA has not evaluated this presentation. The FDA has not been sent any of this information. So testimonials are purely anecdotal. They may or may not be an indication of what will happen to you. But the people who tell their stories are pretty much stating what they believe to be factual and what they understand to be their own particular experience. But just to kind of lay the foundation for what it is that causes so many health problems, the air that we breathe is creating problems. We breathe in toxins. I don't care whether you live in California or other parts of the country. We're breathing in toxins. The water that we drink, even if we're buying bottled water, we're drinking in toxins. Bisphenol A has been implicated in plastic and bottles. It leaches from plastic into bottles. In some countries, plastics with BPAs have been banned, like Canada, for example. They won't allow plastic bottles, baby bottles, to have BPAs in them. It's against the law. So, because it's a known carcinogen. Another source of oxidants that cause problems is the just being outside in the sun. We're absorbing high levels of X, Y, and UV radiation. But even if we never set foot outside, the devices that we carry, that we use every single day, our tablets is all emitting radiation. We're being bombarded with higher levels of radiation now than ever before. There was a time when you had to be a geek or a nerd to know what Wi-Fi meant. And there's one commercial that jokingly says, Wi-Fi, it's not a question, it's a thing. So the older generation has trouble understanding exactly what Wi-Fi is. It is not a question. Wi-Fi is a source of radiation. We're all being bathed with it. Once 5G comes, it's being touted as the end all. It's being touted as the thing that's going to catapult mankind into the next level of technology and advancement. But the level of radiation is going to be astronomical. That's a whole nother discussion. We'll talk about that at another point. But just understand, that's on the list right here on the FDA's website of glutathione depleting agents. It has an impact on our health. It has an impact on your wellness. Just since the 1970s, this is just a short list of some of the new diseases that have popped up since the 70s. Back before 1970, you didn't hear about any of these things, at least not overtly so. They're just now finding out that this Spanish influenza is really just a modern day version of some of the same flus that we're dealing with right now. It just never went away, but back then it killed 50 million people. It's coming back so strong now and with a vengeance. COVID-19 is an entirely different animal. And as you know, it has already killed more than 200,000 people here in this country. And the latest statistics showing that it's advancing aggressively is that it has now, for the first time, more than 180,000 cases have been recorded in one day in the United States. There was a time when it was just about 100,000 a day. Then it hit 150,000 a day just a couple of days ago. And just yesterday, it was 186,000 cases. So probably by sometime during this week, we'll be looking at in excess of 200,000 cases per day of confirmed cases of COVID-19. That's not deaths, that's just people who are carriers of it. And if each person is spreading it to 2.5 people, just do the math and figure out just how many people are going to be contracting COVID-19 before this thing is all over with. And currently there's about a 5% death rate. So the number of deaths is starting to skyrocket, and that's all over the United States. So it's one of the worst epidemics that this country has ever experienced. The only way to contend with any of these things is with your immune system. So if you're not focusing on your immune system, then prepare to have serious complications. The question is, how do you focus on your immune system? What do you do for your immune system? What is the best way to do something for your immune system? How do you improve it? Do you just take vitamin C? That's what doctors say. I remember hearing about one example was when one of our youngest daughters went to the doctor. She came down with a cancer, and the doctor said, well, why are you taking those natural supplements? We had her on DNA 136 and maybe some other things. She said, I can recommend you some natural things that would help you. And she said, okay, well, like what? He said, well, ginseng, get a high quality ginseng, and that will help you with your immune system. This is an oncologist now, and he's telling this child to go find herself a good ginseng. She says, well, which one? And I heard the recording. So my wife recorded the entire session. She said, well, which one? He says, well, just go to Amazon. Just find a good one there on Amazon.com. Sad. So because there's so many different suggestions and recommendations, even from medical professionals about what to do for your immune system, it's difficult to know what to do. Now, this slide that you see here it's actually kind of rogue slide, but I'll talk about it since it's sitting here in front of me right now. You may be aware that just recently diabetes drug has been recalled because it contained high levels of cancer-causing agents. On the slide that I showed you earlier, the one from the FDA that mentioned the XY UV radiation, another item on that list was xenobiotics, and that's oxidants that come from pharmaceutical drugs. Now, this happened to be one that they caught. And do you see which pharmaceutical drug this is that has high levels of carcinogen in it? You see what this one is, don't you? I hope especially anyone who has diabetes is paying attention, because this is what it is. It's a little thing called metformin. Now, for years, we've been telling folks that this thing causes not just cancer, causes pancreatic cancer. And they've already proven that diabetes drugs, there's been studies on this already, so I'm not telling you anything new. This is not a news flash. The diabetes drugs cause diabetes. So they're not trying to solve the problem. It's making the problem worse, because there are many in the medical profession who believe that, well, if you've got diabetes and we know that it's damaging the pancreas, what's the big deal? Your pancreas isn't working properly anyway. Well, that's not true. A person who has diabetes is not necessarily, their pancreas is no longer useless. The pancreas is responsible for hundreds of different enzymes being released in your body, it has an effect on many different organs and systems and functions within the body. It's not just about insulin. So to be taking a pharmaceutical drug that is further damaging your pancreas is, how do I put this nicely? Well, it's insane. That's the only way that I can actually say it. I'm sorry if that offends somebody, but it just doesn't make sense to me. So I encourage folks, anyone who listens to our lectures and presentations or wants to hear anything that we suggest that you just make yourself informed. Just make yourself informed. Be aware of the side effects of any of the medications that you're taking. So don't just accept it. Don't just accept, whatever it is that you're being told to take. Actually, okay, trying to clear these drawings off here. Well, it doesn't seem to want to go away. Keep yourself informed about the side effects of the medications that you're taking, so that you can know when you're getting better and know if something is actually creating a problem for you. So just be aware. Just be aware of what you're doing and what you're putting inside your body. So they recalled that drug, and it's still out there. There's many people right now, even maybe who's on the line right now, who's in this meeting right now, that take metformin. It's banned in about 20 some odd different countries around the world that won't allow metformin to be used. Then there's still people who, to this day, are listening to recommendations from very powerful people, thinking that bleach and UV lights is good to ingest to get rid of the coronavirus. What we suggested, you concentrate on glutathione. If you concentrate on glutathione, find a good way to raise your body's glutathione levels, then you've got a good chance of dealing not just with some form of a virus, but with anything inflammatory in nature. See, inflammation is your body's response to something that's not supposed to be there. So we all know that if you get a splinter in your finger, that it's going to form a blister. That blister is your body's immune system sending massive amounts of white blood cells into that area to try to expel that foreign object. And in that case, it's a huge foreign object, a splinter. Microscopically, it's massive. It might as well be like a light pole by comparison when you look at it from a microscopic level. But to your immune system, one tiny unseen toxin or oxidant or free radical can be the source of a carcinogen. So the immune system sends white blood cells into those areas trying to solve those problems. So that's one of the reasons why when glutathione levels are low, toxins and free radicals can be elevated. And even when inflammation is high, it can lead to some of the diseases that you see listed on the screen right now. Every one of these has an inflammation component to it. Every one of these is connected to low levels of glutathione. And really the list just goes on and on and on of different things that are affected by inflammation, oxidants, and low levels of glutathione. But focusing a little bit more on diabetes, we are fortunate that this brilliant man right here formulated a product that was referred to as military micronutrient formula. Military micronutrient formulation, only available to the United States Army for quite a number of years. This is Dr. Kedar Prasad. Now, they accidentally discovered that the sugar levels in the soldiers was going down. That's it. They just an observation that they made, and completely by accident, they noticed that his formula happened to be improving the A1C, lowering sugar levels, helping to control it. So they focused in on it a lot more. And sure enough, it turns out that his formulation that we now have access to was worthy of a patent for the treatment of diabetes mellitus. I'll show you that in a little bit. But it has N-acetylcysteine in it. N-acetylcysteine raises glutathione levels. So that's one of the key things that you want to keep in mind. For reducing inflammation, you need N-acetylcysteine is one of those items that will do it. But here's the list of all the patents right here. So there's one here for DNA repair, DNA protection, and DNA repair. So our exposure to radiation, that's an important one to pay attention to. Concussive blast injury, important to recognize that if you've had any kind of a head injury, this is the nutrient that you want to put into your body. Tinnitus. So the soldiers were being exposed to those bomb blasts, and they found out that there was improvement in their hearing function when they took this micronutrient. The United States Navy, they did another study here, altitude and environmental protection, improvement in lipid status, and regression of carotid artery thickness. Now, this is one of the things you want to really just kind of, try to wrap your mind around. We're talking about, carotid arteries, any artery associated with your coronary system, the heart, and improving its thickness and making it more supple. That's an improvement in heart function. That's one of the first things that Dr. Nkuzi said to me when I asked him to take a look at this product. He said that this formulator focused a lot on the brain and a lot on the heart. So he wanted to know as much about it as possible. So cellular damage, reduction in immune protection. But this is the one we really want to just focus our attention on a little bit. Type 2 diabetes protection. That is a big deal, folks. So this patent actually says these words. We're not making any medical claims. We're not trying to tell you that any micronutrient is a treatment for disease, but we can tell you what those words are there that's associated with a patent for this specific formula by Dr. Prasad. Micronutrients for treatment of diabetes mellitus. So here's the patent. The exact number is right there, and you can see it for yourself. You can look it up. You can find it. If you have trouble finding it, just send us an email. We'll go to the website, healthcaresupport.org, hcsaaa.com, and request a copy of this patent. We'll be happy to send it to you. But there it is, micronutrient formulations for treatment of diabetes mellitus. Now, there was a time when that people thought that there was only 2 types of diabetes, type 1, type 2, but they've now expanded that. There's really more like 5 different types of diabetes, including pre-diabetics, metabolic syndrome. So there's several different other forms of diabetes. A person can actually be in the pre-diabetic stage without even knowing it. It's a sad place to be, because you can actually lose your vision and other problems, cause other serious problems without knowing that you have the issue. So no matter what your particular condition is or disposition with regard to diabetes is concerned, it would be good to add this micronutrient to your diet. In fact, it would be extremely good to add this micronutrient to your diet. But I highlighted a few points out of the patent just so that you could see a little bit close up and personal. The formulation is for minimizing damage to at least one cell's organs and systems within the body of a subject afflicted with diabetes mellitus. So which organ do you think we're talking about here? You got it. That would be the pancreas. So this patent indicates that it minimizes the damage to the pancreas, a person with diabetes. Now, you notice it says here that it's become a serious national health problem. That was back in the year 2000. And at the time, it said 5.4% of the total population were known to suffer from diabetes. And then they said an additional 5.5 million people with the disease were yet undiagnosed. Well, now that number is staggeringly much higher. It's in the 30% category. And some scientists and experts believe that it will be closing in on about 50% within the next 5 years or so. Think about those numbers. Think about the numbers we're talking about here, folks. So we're not talking about just a few million people now. We're currently talking about somewhere in the area of, let's see here, 30 plus million people. And that would be, no, that's only 10% of the United States. There's about 300 million people in the United States right now. So we're talking about somewhere in the area of 120 million people with diabetes or pre-diabetic right now. So that's an enormous number of people that are suffering from this horrible, horrible disease. So it will offer a degree of protection of the pancreatic beta cells against free radical damage. If you think that we just made that word free radical up, then you'll see for yourself that it's actually mentioned in the patent, and it's all about oxidative stress. So get to know those expressions, because that's what's taking place inside the body. It's as if the body is literally rusting from the inside out. But the protection of the pancreatic beta receptor cells is critically important, especially when it comes to lower this free radical damage. Those beta receptors, that's what, say this is your pancreas, and the pancreas has all these little beta receptors on them. And what they're designed to do is to detect little sugar molecules in the bloodstream. So those beta receptors can sense when there's sugar in the bloodstream, and it would release a corresponding amount of insulin to help the cells to be able to absorb those sugar molecules. But if the beta receptors are attacked, they've rusted out, like you're trying to put a key inside a lock. If you can't put a key inside a lock, you can't open the door. If these beta receptors are rusted and they can't detect that there's sugar in the blood, they never release the insulin. So if they don't know that there's sugar out there, if they can't detect it, they never release sugar. That's what happens. That's why a person's sugar levels go up, 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 because your cells, as badly as your cells need the sugar, it can't absorb it because the beta receptors on the pancreas don't know that the sugar is in the blood. So it just goes elevated. It never, the sugar molecules never get absorbed by the cells. And that's when some people slip into diabetic comas and suffer vision problems and all kinds of other problems. And that's where it starts. Free radicals, oxidative stress. This formula is effective in mitigating, if not entirely eliminating, the symptoms of diabetes mellitus. There it is. It's in writing. And we're not talking about this product being a treatment or cure for disease, but the formula, according to the patent, is effective in helping a person deal with diabetes. This is the version of it that most of us know. It comes in little bottles. This little bottle has 120 vegetarian capsules in it. My favorite is the white one, though, the Micro Daily Plus. It has the CBD in it. And when you look at the list of ingredients, there's nothing really special. But what's special about this is the particular way that Dr. Prasad formulated it. The way he put it together, that's what makes it work as well as it does. He's also produced a number of other enhancements, including this, the MMF, the MTHFR version of it. The one that's the next generation after this is the EMF version. So that's a red bottle. So you might want to go with the EMF version. Again, I recommend the Plus. The Plus is the most expensive. It's about $99, I believe. The EMF version, I believe, is somewhere in the area of $79.
But what if you could sell your house in
but you can just talk to the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll help you get it. But you want to get it on subscription so you get it the cheapest possible. All right. So the Plus is a white bottle or box. The EMF version is a red package, a red bottle. And they both are extremely good in helping with that. This product is not produced by Engage Global. This product, ImmunoRx, is a spray, further helps re-educate the immune system to stop attacking the beta receptors of the pancreas. It's called ImmunoRx. This is available. What's the website? The website is, some people are going to be asking that question. They always do. Can I change the color of this pen? Oh, you can see this. Amerix Bio. Oh. Why is that O not writing? So amerixbio.com. Can you see that? AMERXBIO.com. Okay, so that's the website that you can buy that. It's only $49.95. Outstanding product. Great for re-educating the immune system, helping the immune system produce a balanced response. Works really well. with the micro daily, especially for a diabetic. I would highly recommend going on that for at least 90 days. You just spray 3 blasts under the tongue, 2 or 3 times a day. And by the way, in case you're wondering what the best dosage of the micro daily is, you need 1.5 bottles per month. So you want to go on a subscription for 2 bottles. You need 1.5 bottles per month, 1.5 bottles, 3 capsules, 3 times a day. Actually, at that dose, you might go through it 2 bottles in a month. So that's your best order for this. That's why this is the better one to go with, because it's the least expensive. You get 2 of these for the price of 1 micro daily plus. So if you're diabetic, you want to go for this one, the green one. Okay, and then the ImmunoRx spray. But 3 capsules 3 times a day, and you'll be amazed at what you start to see happen with your immune system. If you could see something happening with your immune system, you would be 100% amazed at the results. Okay, so that's the right dosage. And make sure that you drink plenty of water, because toxins are trying to get out of your body and they need some place to go. Okay, so let's pause right here, and we'll take some time now to just hear your questions. And if you have a story that you'd like to share, diabetes or otherwise unrelated, doesn't matter. Just go ahead and share your story, or feel free to ask your question. This is your chance. Rita Saunders' hand. Go ahead, please, Rita.
Hindi, isa lang. One time lang. Saan ba yung recent picture ito? Hindi.
Having a hard time hearing you, Rita, so unmute your There you go.
Yes. Hi, Jonathan.
So good to see you. Thank you. Please, go ahead, ask with your question.
What I wanted to do, I was trying to get on with you for the last couple of weeks because I need to purchase some of these products, but I couldn't get on. Also, you mentioned diabetes, which is something that's, I have to say, take over my family. I am just one of the ones because my doctor recommended a few years ago, I cut off rice, pasta, and bread.
Good.
Because I was borderline, which I did. And that was like over a period of 5 years, I was able to, the diabetes has been reversed. Because before I left Florida to come here 9 months ago, my doctor had take that off my record.
Excellent.
And I had A1C work last month, and my A1C was 5.4. So
wonderful.
Maintaining that down level. But I can feel in my body, being in nursing before, and the symptoms of my family members and patient dealing with, I know it had done some damage because I can feel the tingling in my body.
Yeah.
And certainly you mentioned something about the pancreas, and I took very note of that because I can feel certain reaction in my stomach with certain foods that I eat. And as I said, the numbness in the feet and the hand, even though it's reversed, I can still feel that because I know the damage was done already. I have some form of damages. So I was trying to see what was best to recommend for me that I could continue using, and also for other family members that I know was on this metformin, but had one of my elder sister, every month she would spend 2 weeks in the hospital being on metformin. But now she's on insulin, and that's, she has been able to sort of control it with the insulin and stay out of the hospital, stay out of going into diabetic comas and stuff. So I know this metformin, even if it was called back, was very terrible. So I agree with that information.
Yes. Very good comments. Thank you very much. If I understand your question, pardon my spelling on here, but there's a couple of things that you could just go to the health food store and add to your diet to get some quick results too with your diabetes and symptoms of diabetes. Now, mind you, micro daily is just off the Richter scale. with its benefits. We've seen a lot of folks, and the stories that we've heard over and over and over again are just, they can't all be just making it up. But again, we have to say for the record that testimonials are purely anecdotal. Borage oil is incredible for neuropathy. You can just buy that at the health food store. So it improves circulation in the extremities for diabetic neuropathy. Borage oil. I remember with my mother suffered horribly with diabetes, and I put her on borage oil, and she called me up. She said she was walking around the house and she was screaming. She didn't know what was happening, thought something was attacking her. Mm-hmm. What happened was I removed all the carpet in the house and I put down tile. And this, after she'd been on the borage oil, she hadn't felt the sensation of cold in so long, she didn't know what it felt like. Her circulation had improved so much. She looked down, she thought something was attacking her. She said, then she realized her feet were just cold. Her circulation was so bad, they found a sewing needle in her foot one time, this deep. She stepped on it, never felt it. So, but borage oil completely improved that tremendously. And my spelling is horrible here, but dandelion, get it as a tea.
Yes,
You can get it as an extract, and it's more potent there, or in capsules. Add that to your diet. It's a natural replacement for insulin. We can't hear you, Rita. Yeah, you're not muted, but for some reason we can't, maybe it's just me, I can't hear you.
Okay.
There you go.
The dandelion, it grows here. Is it best to break that and drink?
You can. I don't know what part of the dandelion they make into the tea. It may be the leaves, but you know, whatever part of it, you can do the research on. Just Google it. What part of the dandelion plant?
It grows like a flower wild all over. It's, you know, so I can get the leaf, the flower. I have access to it.
And the root is phenomenally healthy. Phenomenally healthy. That's a whole nother discussion by itself. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, but in your case, I again would recommend that you start yourself on the regular micro daily, right? So the regular micro daily, and whoever invited you here, go to their website and get a subscription for it. Okay.
Okay. The person that invited me doesn't have a website. That's the information that I wanted to get.
Okay, so write this down, microdaily5g.com. Okay, microdaily5g.com. Just go there and just sign up for a subscription. And you can always reach me on this website right here, healthcaresupport.org.
Okay.
Okay. Estelito, thank you very much for your questions, Rita. Estelito Jocathine, so good to see you, Estelito.
Thank you, Jonathan. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay. Can I have a question? Just because my brother, my sister-in-law, they are on metformin and glyphosate. And they're now taking the micro daily, but I told them, you know, to be patient before the micro daily work for them. But I read some testimony that it took about 3 months for them to get off the metformin or any type of diabetes medicine. So my question is it going to be like before they wean off from the medicine or diabetes medicine, they have to do it gradually, or just let the micro daily work on their system before they could get off of the insulin, glyphosate, and the metformin?
Very good question. Very good question. What we recommend, we have to steer as clear a way as we can from suggesting that anyone make any adjustments to their medication, number one. But from what we have observed, and what individuals have told us, their doctors begin to lower the amount of medication they have them on very gradually. Now, some diabetics have been empowered by their doctors to make adjustments in their medications based on their measured sugar levels. For example, my mother-in-law, if her sugar level is at a certain point, the doctor says take X amount of insulin or this much, that. If it's at a different level, take this amount. So some people find themselves using less and less medication as their body starts to normalize and to reconcile. So as long as he's testing his sugar levels, he will know, and his doctor will know how much he needs and whether he needs to keep taking it. What he's got to be careful about is his sugar levels going too low, because he could end up over medicating himself because his body doesn't need it anymore. So he needs to watch it very carefully, because he will reach a point where his body does not want any more insulin.
Thank you, John. Yes, yes, they're checking their sugar level every day, actually. Yeah, thank you so much, John.
You're very welcome.
Okay.
Yep, glad to help out with that. Okay, I see another question here from Galaxy Tab A29 something.
Yes, I want to know the name of that oil you say was good for neuropathy.
Uh-huh.
Could you spell that name of that oil for me?
Yes, you're on the phone, so you can't see the screen. It's borage, B-O-R-A-G-E. Borage, B-O-R-A-G-E.
Okay, we're on the tablet. We're not on the phone.
Okay, well, if you can see it on the screen, it's written there in the middle, borage oil.
How do you use that oil?
All right, thank you.
You could just use it the way it's described on the bottle. If it tells you to take whatever it tells you on the bottle, just take it. You can't overdose on it. I would take as much as I needed to stop my neuropathy. Once it stopped, I would slowly reduce it. They call that titrating it. So you take what you need, you see improvements, and then you slowly go down to a lower level. If it starts to come back, add up a little bit, then you know how much you need.
Oh, you have to ingest it, or can you rub it on?
No, these are capsules that you eat.
Okay, thank you.
You're quite welcome. Did I see another question? Oh, that's the same question that was already there from the Galaxy tab. Some questions that came in on the chat. Is this spray good for people with overactive immune system, autoimmune disease? Absolutely. ImmuneRx is excellent for people with an overactive immune system. It balances it. So if the immune system is working too hard, it calms it down. If it's not working hard enough, it bumps it up to the right level. So that ImmuneRx spray is phenomenal. Add that with the Micro Daily, and you've got an unbeatable combination, especially when it comes to any kind of infection. I'll tell you a story about someone that's on the call right now as we speak. I got a phone call from her. This is how far back we go, years ago. She had some bacterial infection. Doctors wanted to stick her in the hospital and put her on a drip of IV Cipro. So she wanted to know, well, is there anything that could help her body to deal with this infection that she had? And sure enough, she already had a bottle of the ImmuneRx spray, or we sent it to her, whatever the case. And Alfreda, you want to finish the story?
Yeah. Certainly. I was going to ask you if you wanted me to tell that story. Yeah, they actually said that if that infection got into my bloodstream, that I would be dead in 48 hours. And the interesting thing was when I went, and that I was going to a free clinic. So that's what he told me.
With your hot chocolate?
Sonia,
Sorry.
Okay. So he said that, you know, I should be in the hospital on an IV drip. So I went to an internal medicine doctor and had the same test. And she said, well, you don't have enough of the infection for us to put you in the hospital. And so my first question was, you're going to wait until I do? you know, and that's when I made my call to you, Jonathan. And I told you what was happening. And I kid you not, I went back. So he got me the ImmuneRx. I was doing 4 sprays 4 times a day. And I went back a week later and took the same test. And the only thing on the test results on that paper was my name. It had cleared everything that I had. And mind you, the doctor never gave me any kind of medication to clear that up. So the only thing that I took was the ImmuneRx spray. And just recently, maybe 2 weeks now, my granddaughter had a very severe throat infection. She said it was all white. We thought she had COVID-19. And so she had gone to the urgent care. You know, of course, they gave her medicine. They gave her a test for COVID-19. She works at the Cleveland Clinic. So they gave her another test. So she had 2 tests, which both came back negative. The interesting thing was I made her spray the ImmuneRx, in the back of her throat. And she was in a lot of pain, as you can imagine. And so within hours, the pain subsided. And by the next day, she was, you know, back to, you know, moving around and everything. I don't really think, and she still was taking her medication, but I don't think I've ever seen a medication work quite that fast. And so I know, especially within hours of her taking the spray. So I made her, you know, keep doing that until she got better. So it really is a good product, and it lasts a long time too. So I've had it a long time and it's still working.
Absolutely. I keep it, we keep it on hand at all times because Dr. Nkuzi calls it ICU in a bottle.
Yeah.
There's not one single thing that I have not seen that has not enhanced the efficacy of any nutritional supplement for any purpose whatsoever. Good for external problems, rashes, cuts, bee stings, wasp bites, ant bites, any kind of bites. It's amazing for that. But for the immune system and life or death situations, that's been one of the things that has helped the immune system kick in quicker than anything I've seen ever. So it makes the micro daily work better also.
Yeah, and she was taking micro daily also too, you know. So she got better within hours, really.
That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. Well, excellent. Thank you very much for sharing your story. Alfreda's was one of the most dramatic. We've had others that were very similar. Another client not too far from where Alfreda lives was put into hospice care. She had an untreatable, uncurable bacterial infection. I don't remember her name, but it was her brother-in-law that called our office and said what would help with that. And again, we can't make a recommendation as to what a person can do or not do, but he wanted one of the other products, the DNA 136, that's in a whole different category, and it costs about $200. But at the time, his sister had some ImmuneRx on hand. I said, well, you pick up the phone and you go call your sister and go grab a bottle of that ImmuneRx spray and drive that over to the hospital. They released that woman from the hospital about 3 or 4 days later. Bacterial infection gone. Untreatable, uncurable bacterial infection that she was going to die from. So something as simple as a spray can make the immune system work properly. So we can't say enough about it, and we'll not stop talking about how powerful that product is. All right, so any other questions that anyone would like to ask now? We're just about used up all of our time. We try to respect your time as much as we possibly can. We recognize that you could have been doing so many other things with your time on a Sunday afternoon. Any questions on the chat?
Jonathan.
Estella Chapel, 1 second, Dolores. I've used microdata for months now. I love it. Do you have something like that for kids 9 years old? Microdaily, you could just give your children microdaily 1 capsule twice a day. They could even take an adult dose and it would be okay, but I always recommend the children 1 capsule twice a day. Add the ImmunoRx to it also. 3 blasts under the tongue once or twice a day will help any child, especially with the environment that we're in right now. Okay? Go ahead, Dolores.
I was going to say, it's not about either one of those subjects, but I just want to share something from a client, a person that's using the microdaily that they had told her she needed to go on dialysis. She was very concerned about that. I got a text from her yesterday thanking me for being persistent, she said, because she said, you saved my kidneys. She went to her doctor last week and they let her know that she no longer needed to go on dialysis. Her creatinine level was real high, but now it's down to 2.1.
Oh, that's wonderful. And she took microdaily.
She was just taking the microdaily capsules.
And she was heading toward dialysis.
They had told her, yep, that she was heading toward dialysis.
That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that story.
Okay.
How many per day?
She was only taking 4 per day. And sometimes she said she might increase it to 6, but she was taking between 4 and 6 and just the regular microdaily, just drinking plenty of water, and she no longer, her creatinine level went down that low.
There's 26 people. No.
That's pretty good. All right, one more. We have a couple more questions here. Judy Kendrick.
That's what I wanted to know about with my microdaily. Now I take the powder because I have a problem swallowing capsules. And would it help with the kidney problem?
You cannot go wrong by improving your immune system's function. When you improve the way your immune system works, organs in your body will work better, period. And the story that Dolores told was a woman who had severe kidney problems, and now her kidney function has improved and is working much better now. And all she did was add micronutrition to her diet.
And I noticed when I take microdaily like I supposed to, that my urine has a slightly yellow color like it's supposed to have.
That's correct.
But before I had the microdaily, it was just clear.
Yep.
And it had a slight odor, but now that odor is gone. But when I urinate, the bottom of my stomach hurt.
Ah. How much water are you drinking per day?
I don't know. I hadn't, actually counted.
We'll try to become more aware of how much water you take, because microdaily is trying to pull toxins out of your body. So you want to make sure that you give those toxins someplace to go. And after a while, any discomfort that you're feeling will start to subside, but make sure that you get your water intake up. Now, if your doctor has you on restricted water, be careful. So
he don't.
He does? He don't. Okay, well, if he has no restrictions on the amount of water, then you take your body weight and cut it in half. So let's say hypothetically you weigh 130 pounds. A person who weighs 130 pounds needs to drink 65 ounces of water. A person who weighs 150 pounds needs to drink 75 ounces of water. So whatever you weigh, divide that number in half. That's how many ounces of water you should be drinking every day. Get that in your body, okay? That will help to get it to working much better, okay?
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome. And for every one of us, that's the amount of water we should be drinking. And everybody should start walking about 30 minutes a day if you don't want to die. Veronica Brumfield had your hand up there for a while. Go ahead, please.
I did. This is my first time coming on. And I wanted to ask, would you be doing this every Sunday at the same time?
Currently, we are doing it every Sunday at 4 o'clock, yes.
Okay. I just wanted to, in case I have questions next week.
Very good. Yeah, you're welcome to come back on. We try to record it each week. And so for any who get added to our healthcare support chat, if you send us a message with your phone number, we will add you to the chat. So we'll notify you when recordings are available and when meeting subjects are specific or when the times change. So just whoever invited you, get them to request that you be added to the WhatsApp chat so you get notified directly, okay?
Okay.
And let's see, Angelique has a question and then we'll go to Bree Love.
18. Yes. Hey, Jonathan. So, a friend of mine, she just sent me a text that she's in stage 4 cancer and not getting better. She's been on 3 chemo drugs that have failed. And now she's doing a holistic protocol because she has a breast wound that needs to be dressed daily. What is a suggestion? I mean, how do you handle that, especially if you're doing holistic?
Well,
protocol?
It all depends on what the what holistic protocol she's taking. If she's doing an enzyme therapy, that's her best chances. But the problem is, in her case, is that she's got so much chemo in her body. So her immune system right now is busy trying to deal with that chemo. The chemo is a worse threat to her than the cancer is. So if she had the right kind of help, and if it all depends on what she can afford, but she needs some holistic help getting the chemo out of the way first, then getting the immune system engaged in dealing with the abnormal cell development. So that's a whole different level of discussion in her case. But she certainly wouldn't hurt to add a very heavy dose of micro daily to her regimen. Doesn't matter what holistic program she's on, she should step into the 666 protocol. That's 6 capsules 3 times a day. If that was someone that I knew and cared about, that's what I would encourage.
So what was the thing you said at first? The protocol thing at first? The what?
Well, her immune system is busy fighting the chemotherapy.
Okay.
So we can't really it
was another word you used. That's what I was asking, but that's okay.
Oh, I mean,
he said enzyme therapy.
Thank you. Enzyme. That's what I was looking for. Thank you.
Yeah, enzymes. And this is not digestive enzyme. This is enzymes that are unbelievably powerful when it comes to dealing with abnormal cells in the body. So if this holistic practitioner has her on that, then that's the best thing she could be doing right now. But in addition to that, 666 protocol.
Wow, 6
okay. Thank you.
You're very welcome. And is that Jeanette Breelove that's asking a question?
Yes. I wanted to know, you said that dandelion tea takes the place of insulin?
It's a natural, dandelion is a natural replacement for insulin. So a diabetic could add dandelion tea to their life. And that would be one way of helping to keep their sugar levels naturally cared for.
Oh, okay.
Because see, most of the time, a person is a diabetic, not because they have a disease. The person is a diabetic because free radicals have attacked their pancreas. Something has malfunctioned in their body. So for some reason, their cells can't absorb sugar properly. Dandelion is a natural replacement for insulin. So that means the pancreas would have to work less. So dandelion can help the cells absorb the sugar better. So just add that to their diet and they'll find themselves needing less medication.
Okay.
They got to be careful because, once again, let's say they take the dandelion tea and dandelion capsules and dandelion extract, and they still go shoot up with insulin, they could run their sugar levels down too low. They could over-medicate. You know, so just be advised that a natural solution is better than a pharmaceutical one. That's all I can say to a person. Can't tell someone that they should change their medication or whatever, but they should talk to their doctor, tell their doctor what they're trying to do. Tell the doctor, and the doctor will often cooperate with that. They want that. Some of these doctors actually want you to get off the pharmaceutical because they know it's killing you.
Okay, thank you.
You're very welcome. And Rita, you got the last question for us.
Thank you. The question I have is on cancer, Jonathan. And it's a patient that has it in the arm, and the doctor decide now to operate, but it has a low blood count. Could this medication, microdaily, help in any way?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, that cancer is progressing without no treatment, with nothing. What could be what she can use that will, you know, get it out of her system?
Well, she wants to, you want the blood count to go up so that they can get started, right?
Well, yes, but if is this treatable without surgery? Is cancer treatable without surgery?
The immune system is powerful. The immune system can resolve any issue.
Okay, I think I would like to look into that treatment without the surgery, because to get the blood up, get the surgery, it's a while. It has to be a time in progress. And this has already, it's gone to a stage where it's on the arm, and it starts to ooze. So she would go to the hospital, they just pull whatever out with the syringe and go home, and you're just waiting there. So.
Right. And have they taken any
started, no surgery? So it's, to my thinking, it's not a two-way fight. If something could be just to attack the cancer, at least try with that.
That's a better approach.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're correct about that. They've taken no chemo yet?
Nothing. No.
Oh yeah, then she
wanted. We started nothing, and don't know when, because
if they can afford it, they should go on DNA 136 right away.
Okay, so I need to speak to you and get all these and get everything that's you telling me here and purchase.
Yep.
Pronto.
Okay.
Thank you.
Get them. Go to the website, right? You see the website on the screen, right? Healthcaresupport.org.
I can't see the screen. That's what I've been writing and saying. I can't see when I switch. I can just see the people. No, nothing from your chat. Nothing I could have picked up.
Ah, I see. Okay. All right. Well, write this down.
Okay.
HCS, Harry, Charlie, Sam. H as in Harry, Charlie as in C as in Charlie, S as in Sam, HCS AAA.com.
Gotcha.
Go to that website, and that's the website where you can submit a request for support, or you can ask a question. But click on Start. It'll take you to a page, and then click on Support, which I think is all the way on the far left, and then fill out that form. Just give us as many details as possible, and we'll give you a suggested protocol. So
yes, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
we'll be happy to do it. You're very welcome. So listen, folks, we recorded this session. So if you know anyone who could have benefited from hearing something that was said here today, then just request it. Just go to hcsaaa.com, go to the website, and just ask for the recording, a link to today's recording. We'll post it anyway in the chat. So if you're already in the WhatsApp chat, we're going to post the link to the recording so you can get access to it and share it with anybody that you want. And so in case it will benefit them in some way, we want folks to benefit themselves. Find a way to get solution. Stop being slaves to just blind trust of someone in a white coat. We're happy that they exist. We're happy that there are actually caring doctors out there. But if there's a way that you can help yourself, you're much better off. And we're encouraging that. We're recommending it highly. So if you can think of someone who needs to hear this presentation, get them back here again next week also, if they're available. They want to hear it live or ask some questions, come back here. Sundays at 4 o'clock. Alfreda and I are going to be trying to have this every Sunday at 4 o'clock for as long as we possibly can. Bring a guest with you. There's no reason why we shouldn't have 50 to 100 people on this call every single week. The information is available. And by the way, I don't know if you've seen the latest information about the danger of this COVID-19. Have you seen it? There was an article just this past week that they released that, let's see if I got a picture. I think I thought I captured the picture. Taking a look here to see. Hang on. Yeah, there it is. Many COVID patients, see. Yeah, many COVID-19 patients later developed mental illness, study finds. That was published in the New York Post, and the Sky News in Australia was saying the same thing, or similar thing. Mental problems are developing after COVID-19. So the best thing that a person can do is try to do everything you can to avoid it. A nutrition-rich body is your best defense against any kind of viral infection. A nutrition-rich body is your body's best defense against any kind of viral infection. All right, so for the record again, folks, my name is Jonathan Jones. It has been my pleasure and privilege to be your host and moderator for today. Look forward to seeing you folks back again next Sunday at 4 o'clock. You folks have yourselves a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.